bit about how truck brake chamber will work. So this is the braking system for a transport truck or heavy equipment, and it works with air. So I'm gonna turn the phone around and I'll show you how this works. So I have a brake chamber like this, and how it is, usually it's mounted from the front here, and as you're putting air into it, there's one side that is the parking brake and one side that is your service brake. So what's happening is when you put air to it, this extends and your brakes are applying. Now the parking brake is always apply, and when you're applying air to it, it's going to compress the spring, which I'm going to show you. There's this big spring in here, and this is what's getting compressed. So this applying pressure on your brake system when you're not using the truck and the truck is on park, and this is the size of the spring here. So that actually hold the whole truck. So you're putting air to it, it moves this plate here backwards, and it compresses the spring, and then it's going to make it so that now this is released, your brakes are released, and now when you put air on this side, it's going to push onto that diaphragm, which is in here, and it's going to push on this plunger right here. The diaphragm is in the back of it, so now you're putting air onto this side of it. It's applying pressure on here, and now because it's applying pressure on here, and the push rod is actually extending out of here and applying your brakes. So you have one diaphragm like this on each side of your brake chamber. So one for the parking brake, and when you're applying the air into it, it's going to apply air on this side. So here's the port from the bottom here. So when you're putting air, it applies air onto this side of the brake chamber, and it push onto this plate that we were talking about earlier, which is in here. Now, to help everything move freely, there's also a return spring in between the plate. So the diaphragm is, so it goes like this. So it goes return spring, diaphragm, and then you have your plate, and then the big parking brake. Now, when you have a brake chamber that is caged like this, because sometimes you're going to have failure with the truck, and you need to be able to release your parking brake so you can drive the truck back to a shop or tow it. So you're going to put the caging bolt. The caging bolt, usually you'll find on the brake chamber, you're always going to have a caging bolt through this tube here. So you'll have a nut and a washer on one side, and then it just clips into this side with this end. So now there's two knobs onto this side of the caging bolt. So what's happening here is you're going to fit this into the hole in the back of your brake chamber. You have access port here, and as you're inserting this into it, you're going to insert it through. Now the spring won't be as big as that, so it's actually all compressed. So you're going to insert that through the spring, and you're going to go, and it's going to go into this hole here. I don't know if I can hold it with one end, but oops, there we go. So it's going to go through this hole, and then you're turning it about a quarter turn, and then it's going to lock in place. And now because it's locked in place, as you're turning this nut against the back of your brake chamber, it's pulling onto this rod and bringing this plate and compressing this spring, so it's actually releasing your brake. I know that's a little bit lot to learn in one shot if you guys are not familiar with it, but this is pretty much how it works. So The two stud here are to mount it to the plate onto your truck. This mount onto your slack adjuster to apply your brake on your truck. And then, yeah, you can see that there's that rod that goes right through on both sides with, this is cut out right now, but with again the diaphragm here. So if you have air leak when you're either releasing your parking brake or if you're applying your foot brake or service brake, then this is going to be because one of those have a little neck into it, and the air is going to come out either from around the clamp or it's going to come out from one of those ports here, and this is to drain water if there's any moisture into the brake chamber. But if you feel or hear air coming out of there when somebody pressed the brake pedal, then this means that the diaphragm have a little crack in it. Usually it won't really be in the center, it's going to be close to one of the edge, because this flips one way, but then when it gets pressed it turns and flip the other way, so it moves a lot right here in that corner and right here. And because this is flat surface pushing against it, then usually this doesn't get damaged at all. So this is where the air leak come from. Now the clamp on the parking brake side is going to be always welded, well, crimp. It's actually part of this back panel here, this ball, and then what they do is they just crimp it on top of this lip from the center of the brake chamber, and you can see it good here how it's crimped around it. And so this is so that you don't remove that by accident, because about 25 years ago they used to have clamps like this on both sides, and if you didn't know what you were doing, or you were an apprentice that was new working on transport truck and you did undo the wrong clamp, now you had the pressure of the spring here extending, and that was very dangerous. Some mechanic get killed removing those before. So it looks like I got some people talking in the chat here. I'm just going to go. Please comment where you are from if you're watching. Yeah, that's a good good question here. So me, I'm from Canada, Ontario. We're just discussing with my friend at the shop about the song 3,000 pound of banana regarding a runaway truck. Yeah, I hope you guys learn anything. If you have any question, please feel free to let me know. 11 years at Mag Volvo dealership and never seen anyone cut one apart and show them exactly what's going on with your parking brake and service brake, and so that they understand how to cage everything properly. And yeah, so you know, you cannot have it better than actually see it in person, because you know, picture don't do it. You see a picture of this, it doesn't show it as much or as good as how much strength you would have in there. You can actually hold it in your hand, right? Even on video like this, it's way better than a picture. Give me a like if you think so. So yeah, so anyway, that's wrapping up the live video right now, and hopefully you guys learn anything. If you have questions, just comment them below, and then I'll make sure that I come around and answer them. All right.